Oh, hi. It's overcast, which means I can finally film, even though the lighting is still terrible. Today I'm filming a video that came very highly requested. And by very highly requested, I mean one person requested it. So Brooke, this one's for you. I am going to be filming a plant tour, and a little bit of a care guide. So this can obviously only be the plants that I have in my dorm room right now, but I think I'm gonna do a second part of this when I go home next weekend. And I have a lot more plants there, so it'll be a little meatier, but this will just start with like some general tips, some reasons why you should not listen to me about any of this, and then I will show you all of the plants that I have here. Without further ado, let's get into some like general care tips. Better. Okay. The basics when it comes to houseplant care are, to the best of my understanding, the biggest one. This will kill all of your plants. If you feel like you can't keep plants alive, this is why. Don't overwater them. It is currently not the growing season. The growing season is from like April to like August, to the best of my understanding. It might extend like through September. Right now, you need to be watering your plants once every 1 to 2 weeks maximum, maybe once a week during the growing season, especially if you live in a very gray place like New York State. But it's like the rule of thumb is to water when the soil is dry. So obviously if you live in a super sunny place, you might be watering once a week to twice a week because your plant is using more sunlight to photosynthesize. Big science talk. If you live in perpetual gray like me, you see this purple light? I'm not growing weed. It's a grow light. You can use them to grow weed, I think. It doesn't matter. I bought that one from Amazon for like maybe $15, and although it isn't perfect, it has saved my plants. Especially, I don't know how it's doing with the Hoya right now, but last semester I had it in this dungeon corner back here, and it kept them alive. They didn't grow, but they didn't die. So you take what you can get. I live in a dungeon. Also, don't listen to me. I know nothing. I'm not a horticulturist. I'm not a botanist. And there are millions of people on YouTube that can give you better advice. These people that I enjoy watching are Betsy Begonia, the best. She recently did a video about grow lights and how you don't need to buy specifically grow lights. Kaylee Ellen, she owns the Rare Plant Shop. Phenomenal. Does like 30-minute videos on like controversial plant topics. Awesome. She's so fun, entertaining to watch. Planterina, also one of my favorites. She's great. She really loves plants. And Harli G. I really like Harli too. She's about to have a baby. Maybe she already had it by the time this video is up. Anyways. And then Summer Rayne Oaks, I think is her name. I don't have it written down because it just didn't come to my mind while I was writing out this outline. But she does the Plant One On Me series, and she's been doing like a video a day for like 180 days now. And she's showing all of her plants. If you have never seen a video that just shows you the inside of her apartment in Brooklyn, I think, watch it, please. She's incredible. I guess it's time for me to show you my plants and how I'm taking care of them. Starting with my first plant that really started this whole houseplant obsession. This is a green oxalis, or a false shamrock. I got it at Wegmans after St. Patrick's Day of last year. They were on clearance. A gorgeous plant. This guy I water when the soil is completely dry. I recently watered it, so it's pretty heavy, and you can usually feel when plants need water because the pot will get really light. And you know it really needs water when these leaves start to droop. Right now it's just been watered, so it doesn't need any, but if it hadn't, the leaves would be like drooping this way. This is one of my favorites, but I cut it all back at the beginning of my winter break, and since then it's come back really beautifully, so I'm happy about that. And it's one of my favorites. I just think it's so darling. Let's see the next one. So this next one is the quintessential houseplant of all houseplants. It is a pothos. I think this one really kicked off the obsession. I got it this summer, and it has just shown me so much love since then. I have this one trailing down the side of my dresser. It's gorgeous. And when it comes to pothos, you want to water them when their leaves start to droop. So you can kind of feel that the leaves have a bit of waxiness, but when they start to lose that and their shape starts to droop, it either means one of two things. The leaf is dying, or if it's a widespread problem, the plant needs water. But I water this one again, maybe like once every 1 to 2 to 3 weeks in this weather because it sits in a very dark place and doesn't grow very fast. I don't worry about it too much. Another thing about these guys is this is a variegated one. It's a golden pothos. And if you put it in a dark place, it'll live, but it will start to lose its variegation. This is this guy. But then I have a smaller one that I grew from cuttings that my grandma gave me. And this is a marble queen pothos with some jade mixed in because, again, I live in a dungeon, so it's starting to revert, but I don't mind it. I think it's really pretty. These leaves are beautiful. I don't know if you can see in the low light. Exact same care, but if you want to keep the variegation, it needs more light. But these guys in general grow so quickly, and they only need water when their leaves droop. So this one is a little easier to see because it'll be like less widespread because the plant is smaller. So if you want to start off easy, I would start off with one that isn't trailing as much or as big. I don't buy big plants to start off. This one grew this size, but I would recommend starting with one this size. And I have this one sitting up on my desk area, and it looks really beautiful there. And it's one of my favorites, but it's so simple to take care of. I'm so confident that I won't kill it. I can't say that about all of them, so a good one. Now I gotta put these back. This next guy is one everyone wants, and everyone has killed at least one, myself included, but I've had this one for, we're going like up on a year in March, I think. And it's an aloe vera, and these are just so stunning and so widespread, easy to find. They are succulent, so they do need a bit higher light, but these ones, in my personal experience, can tolerate lower light. So here's how I care for this guy. One, it's very sensitive to the environment, so it's bent a little because it's tilting towards the sun. It's lost a couple tips, and it does start to lose these bottom like leaves, stalks, I don't know. But here's how I care for it. I water when the soil is completely dry and then some. So I say you can forget about these for a couple weeks. The key is to not overwater. That can be said for any plant really. They have a lot of water in these stalks, so they don't need it as much. And they're also very slow growers, especially when it's not the growing season. So I barely water these. And the way that I water most of my plants is bottom watering. So I'll put it in a bowl, some water in a bowl, stick the plant in a bowl, and then when it's soaked up all it can have, usually about like a half hour or so, pull it out. You can't overwater them that way. It's a surefire way to keep it healthy. So that's my aloe. It's real cute. It's time for this boy. This used to be my favorite plant in the entire universe. It's a Peperomia obtusifolia variegata until something fell on it, and it's kind of stunted its growth perpetually, and it keeps losing leaves, like it just lost one right now. And I want to be sad about it, but part of me just doesn't care because I become kind of complacent about this guy. Let me just tell you how to take care of it, because it is a really pretty, unique plant. But here's the thing with Peperomias: they have such a weak root system. It's very fine, very thin. If you ever repotted one, you would know. And these don't like disturbance, so they like to sit in one place, be rotated to obviously like get the sun. They need high light, and I can't give it high light right now, so I pretty much ruined my own chances of keeping it alive when I brought it to school. And they need water when the leaves start to droop a little or show veininess, and they drop or they lose some of the succulent nature of them. They aren't succulents, but they are firm, like the leaves are firm to touch, as like I can kind of show. I'm squeezing it right now a tiny bit and it's kind of firm, but if it was to squish, like this leaf that just fell off, it'll squish a little bit more, and that's when you need to water. But bottom water these guys too. You don't want to end up with root rot, and that's how you avoid it. It's also in terracotta. Another thing I forgot to mention is you need your plants in pots with drainage, at least. Ideally, like terracotta or something porous that'll pull the water away. And if they are in terracotta pots, they will need to be watered a little bit more frequently. This is a really good way to avoid root rot, which I haven't personally dealt with. I think I've gotten really lucky because I kind of educated myself on it a little bit before I started buying plants. But it's something that a lot of people will deal with at some point. On to the next. Okay. This guy, I spend most of my life worrying about. It is a Hoya carnosa Crimson Queen, I believe, because the variegation comes from the outside of the leaf. It is beautiful. It was $32, so if I kill it, I can't kill it. It's my own personal rule to myself. I refuse. But it is just such a beautiful plant. I wanted a Hoya for so long. Water in the soil is completely dry. These need light, hence why they're under a grow light, and they're very slow growing. They do flower if you give them the right conditions. However, I never expect any of mine to flower. I just want it to not die. It would be really cool if it grew. Hasn't shown any signs of growing since I've had it for over a month. But here's hoping. But isn't it so pretty? Like, these leaves are kind of waxy and succulent, and they're so thick and beautiful, and I don't know, let me see if I can find a pinkish part. They have the slightest pink tinge to the leaves. You cannot see it, but I can. It's really pretty. Just trust me, okay? And I just love this guy. I'm really nervous about taking care of him, and I don't think I should have bought it when I did, but I've wanted him for well over a year now, so I'll let you know if it grows or if I kill it, or I'll just keep you updated, we'll say that. Last but not least, I have two of these again, and they're probably, I keep saying they're all my favorite plants, but any plant that I've ever seen to show this much love, this is probably my go-to plant. This is the plant I tell everyone to get, and it is the Philodendron scandens, I believe. I have two. I have this neon one that's bright green, and then I have a Brazil one, which is the one climbing this wall. They have the same leaf shape. When it comes to these guys, the key is to water when the leaves start to lose their natural lift. So you can kind of see that the leaves will want to like face outwards. They look for the sunlight and they'll face the sun. And when they start to lose that lift and droop, that's when you want to water them. These grow super quickly, and they're a very fulfilling plant. So this one has like climbed up my wall since coming to college, I guess 6 months ago, so it's not that fast, but quick enough for me to see the progress. It's really cool. And leaves will be bigger if they have something to climb. This is the same with pothos. They are vining plants. They do want to climb something, so you can see that like these leaves up here that I've had something to grow on are a little bit bigger, whereas these leaves at the bottom on this guy that I let trail because it's so pretty get a little bit smaller, and then this one at the end is going to be tiny. But so these guys, for that one I don't bottom water. I just water like straight up from the top. But this one I do bottom water just because it's easier, and it's in such a small little pot that if I water it like from the top, it just all goes right through. Whereas if I bottom water it, it kind of soaks it up, and I know that it's getting enough. That's these guys. So that's all the plants that I currently have. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, these are the plants that I don't know what to do with yet. A Syngonium that I bought yesterday. This was gonna get thrown away at Walmart. It was in that cart where they put all the plants that are like quote unquote past their prime, but it's perfectly fine and really pretty, and it was $4, so don't really know how to take care of that yet, but it doesn't seem too difficult. This is a cactus that I've had for 6 months. In that time, it has not grown, but it also has not died, so I'm considering it a victory. I water it whenever I forget about it for like a month, and then I'm like, oh shoot, I should probably water that one. I'm kind of apathetic about this one at this point. It could die. This pot's really pretty. I could use it for something else, but yeah, it is what it is. It's really sharp. And then this guy is my first begonia. So this is a Rex begonia, and it's so beautiful, and it has a new baby leaf on it, but I don't know how to take care of it yet, so I'm not going to give you any advice on it. Those are all of my plants that I currently have in my dorm room. Another thing I wanted to quickly mention that I'm experimenting with is using fertilizer. This one's a liquid indoor plant food. It feeds instantly, so you can just pump one pump on. However, I feel weird doing it when I don't water because I feel like I need to dilute it a little. I don't want to burn my plants. That's my one big concern. That's pretty much all I wanted to cover. I hope you enjoyed seeing this first part of a plant tour that I plan on continuing because I really enjoy houseplants. But I just think it's so wonderful to have something green in your space and keep something alive and watch it grow. I get excited about new leaves when I don't have anything else to be excited about. I learned a lot of Latin names in the past 6 or so months. Those are my plants, and I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, friends.